The British Parliament is now questioning whether Enzo Fernández should still be allowed to work in England. After a disastrous World Cup campaign, the Chelsea midfielder has become the biggest target in a political backlash that has escaped football completely. His previous racism scandal was already following him. Then came the violence against England, the confrontations with officials, Argentina's Malvinas provocation, and the red card that helped destroy their World Cup final. Chelsea may continue to protect him, but British politicians and furious supporters are preparing a very different response. Enzo Fernández is returning to England with the most dangerous backlash of his career waiting for him. The crisis exploded after Argentina defeated England 2-1 in the World Cup semi-final on July 15, 2026. England's players were still standing on the pitch, devastated by another World Cup collapse, when Giovanni Lo Celso collected a banner from Argentine supporters. Lisandro Martinez, Christian Romero, and Nicolas Otamendi joined the display. The words read, "Las Malvinas son Argentinas." The Falkland Islands are Argentine. That message dragged the celebration directly into one of the most painful conflicts in modern British history. Argentina invaded the Falkland Islands in 1982. Britain sent a naval task force to reclaim the territory. The 10-week war killed 255 British military personnel, 649 Argentine military personnel, and 3 Falkland Islanders. The islands remain under British control, while the dispute continues to carry enormous political and emotional weight. Displaying that banner only minutes after eliminating England turned a football victory into an open provocation involving British territory, British history, and British war dead. The backlash reached Parliament almost immediately. British politicians demanded consequences and raised questions about whether Argentine footballers earning millions in England should retain the work visas, allowing them to continue their careers in the country. Enzo did not hold the banner himself, but the political debate quickly widened beyond the 4 players photographed with it. His behaviour during the tournament had already made him one of the most hated figures among English supporters. Once Parliament began discussing Argentine players working in Britain, Enzo became the easiest and most explosive target. Of all the players caught inside the scandal, he carries the darkest history. Chelsea supporters have never completely escaped the racism controversy he created after Argentina won the 2024 Copa America. During the celebrations on the team bus, Enzo joined a chant targeting black French players and questioning whether their African ancestry made them genuinely French. He held the phone and broadcast the footage through his own social media account. The video caused outrage across international football. Wesley Fofana, Enzo's own Chelsea teammate and a France international, publicly described the footage as uninhibited racism. The French Football Federation filed a complaint. FIFA opened an investigation. Chelsea began an internal disciplinary procedure. Enzo apologised, but the damage remained attached to his name. Chelsea later returned him to the dressing room and continued treating him as an important figure. He even wore the captain's armband, a decision that infuriated supporters who believed the club had rewarded a player whose own live stream had caused a racial crisis involving teammates.
The 2026 World Cup gave those critics fresh ammunition. During the semi-final against England, Enzo struck an English player in the back of the head only minutes into the match. His aggression continued throughout the tournament. He confronted referees, surrounded officials, and repeatedly allowed frustration to drag him towards another disciplinary disaster. Then came the World Cup final. Argentina needed control from one of its most expensive and experienced midfielders.
Enzo responded with a reckless challenge that produced a second yellow card and left his country with 10 men while the trophy slipped away. The dismissal completed a collapse that English supporters had watched with satisfaction. For them, Enzo had already become the face of Argentina's ugliest behavior. His previous racism scandal, his conduct against England, and his red card in the final now formed one brutal reputation. Then the Malvinas banner carried the entire controversy into British politics. Immigration experts have said visa revocation remains extremely unlikely under current United Kingdom law. Political provocation would not normally satisfy the legal threshold for deportation unless it involved incitement, public danger, or a genuine national security threat. The Home Office has not removed Enzo's visa. That legal reality does not erase the humiliation. The fact that his right to work in Britain is even being discussed by politicians shows how toxic his name has become. Enzo arrived at Chelsea as one of the most expensive midfielders in football history. He now returns from the World Cup, facing questions about racism, violence, leadership, discipline, and whether he deserves the privilege of continuing his career in England. Chelsea can protect his contract. They can select him every week. They can place him inside the leadership group and insist that football must move forward. They cannot control what happens when he enters an English stadium. Supporters at rival grounds now have years of material waiting for him. The racist live stream, the clash with English players, the arguments with referees, the disastrous red card, the political scandal surrounding Argentina. Every difficult away match could turn into another public punishment. Before we continue, subscribe to the World Cup Whistleblower for the scandals football tries to bury before the next season begins. Enzo may face the fiercest backlash, but the crisis surrounding Argentina has also followed his teammates back into English football. Lisandro Martinez must return to Manchester United after standing beneath the Malvinas banner. United supporters once loved his aggression, courage, and willingness to sacrifice his body for the club. The photograph from the semi-final now places that reputation beside a political message linked to a war that killed British servicemen. Some supporters will forgive him. Others may see that image every time he wears the Manchester United shirt. Christian Romero returns to Tottenham carrying an even longer list of provocations. During the semi-final, he sprinted towards Jordan Pickford and screamed in the goalkeeper's face while Pickford was still on his knees. Romero later joined the Malvinas display, deepening the anger around a player whose aggression had already crossed into deliberate humiliation. Tottenham fans spent years praising that hostility when it benefited their club. They must now decide whether the same behavior remains acceptable when it is aimed at England. The fallout has also spread into Spain. Julian Alvarez has left Atletico Madrid and joined Barcelona after representing Argentina during a World Cup campaign filled with confrontations and accusations of disgraceful behavior. The transfer has made him a symbol of betrayal among Atletico supporters. He remained in Spain and joined one of the country's most powerful clubs, while anger over Argentina's conduct was still burning. Every return to Madrid will reopen that resentment. Nahuel Molina has no transfer to carry him away from the consequences. He must return to Atletico after punching Rodri in the stomach following the World Cup final. Rodri had captained Spain to the trophy and become one of the most celebrated players in the country. Molina now has to enter a dressing room filled with Spanish teammates who watched him attack their national captain after the final whistle. That first home appearance could become vicious. The club may demand professionalism from its players and supporters, but the footage will remain available before every important match. Above all of this hangs the enormous online petition demanding that Argentina be banned from the next World Cup. The campaign has attracted millions of signatures from countries across the world. It cannot force FIFA to act. It has no power to cancel visas or remove players from club squads. Its significance lies in the scale of the anger. Argentina's World Cup behaviour created hostility far beyond England and Spain. The petition became another sign that supporters across the world viewed the tournament as something worse than ordinary football aggression. For Enzo, the danger is especially severe because the backlash has merged every scandal attached to his name. The racism controversy from 2024 never completely disappeared. His aggression against England added another layer. His red card damaged Argentina in the World Cup final. The parliamentary debate now connects his reputation to questions about whether he should even continue working in Britain. The strongest defence remains that footballers lose control during enormous matches, and that players sometimes become trapped inside political controversies created by others. Enzo did not hold the Malvinas banner. His visa remains legally secure. Chelsea are under no obligation to remove him. Those facts may preserve his career. They will not repair his reputation. The World Cup is over, but the punishment waiting for Enzo has barely started. British politicians have already discussed him. Chelsea supporters are divided. Away crowds are preparing to tear into every scandal he carries back with him. Perhaps victories and trophies will eventually bury the backlash. Perhaps Enzo will apologise again, rebuild his standing, and force supporters to concentrate on his football. Or perhaps the 2026 World Cup created a stain that Chelsea cannot protect him from. When Enzo Fernández walks back into an English stadium, will supporters still see a Chelsea midfielder returning to work? Or will they see the Argentine star whose racism scandal, World Cup disgrace, and political backlash became so toxic that his future reached the British Parliament?